is that I'm tied to nature. For those that don't get out, can't get out, or can never get enough. Oh, hi, I'm just losing track of days and everything. It's April 23rd, day 15-ish. I think to myself, kind of becoming a pain coming out and not getting anything. Maybe getting a little taste of things. But then I hear from, or I see Doug Gardner on Facebook, and he's been in the blind for almost 30 days now, I think, and hasn't got much of anything that he wants to. And he's just sitting in a confined place, so this isn't bad. Coming into location number 1. If you're not familiar with my locations, you have to watch the other videos. But basically, I have 6 locations that I've set up, and those are locations that I stop and listen for owls at. I kind of have half locations, other places, but like this would be location 1. Probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile from the road. Today I actually came in from a different direction, hoping it would be closer, and it is quite a bit closer. I got 3 places, 2 at location 1 and 1 at location 6, that I want to spend some time at, and I'll have very specific time frames when these owls are calling that I can find them. And so location 1, I got a glimpse of one here the other day. It seems like these guys usually start calling about 7:15, 7:20, pretty regular. So it's 6:37. Now I want to get in there a little early so I can try to catch them before they get on the move. So see if I can go catch them. So it's great gray here. Then down to location 6 for a mystery owl that I'm not familiar with the call. It's not the typical call you'd expect. Back to location number 1 for a great gray that just started calling there this morning, really close. Just on the other side of the road from where I'm at, as well as to see if the saw-whet will call again, which a couple nights ago I was out with my boys, had it calling, kind of the scream call, the saw call, 2 of them, and it just quit. And I haven't heard them call since then. I've been out looking for cavities, trying to find out where they would be at, but no luck. So hopefully they give me some kind of indication tonight as to where they're hanging out at. I did it. I found my first nest. I can just see a tip of the tail, so I don't know what species it is yet. Probably great horned owl or great gray owl, based on this location here. So I'm gonna turn this around so you can try to see what I'm looking at. So it's this tree right here that I'm looking at, and right there is a nest. So owls don't build nests, so he's taken a nest from something else, and that's where it's nesting at. And it is on the nest, so I need to record this date, figure a time frame once I figure out what species it is, how long incubation is, and I got my first nest. And just find the species now. Okay, it's 7:45. I just had the very first owl call, just called again. So I'm kind of away from the nest right now, give him some space. Actually, what I did is the last couple times I've been out here, I've heard this call, and I thought, oh, whatever. Started thinking about it. It's a sharp-shinned hawk calling. So now I got to go see if I can find a sharp-shinned hawk nest back here while I'm out here. But I'm going to slowly creep in on this nest again. There's only one place that I have a real good vantage to see it. It's up pretty high. So see what I can find here. So her head's up, and it is a great horned owl. It's one of those owls you photographed quite a bit, found a couple nests before, but not Island Park, and not in this kind of setting before. So this is awesome to have. This is the location the other day, and I've been piecing it together. So I've heard a great gray owl calling out here. I've also heard great horned owl callings, and there's a couple times I'm like getting confused by the calls. And so one day I did see a great gray owl. It was back behind me a little ways. And so I have a feeling what's happened is we've had the great horned owl calling, well, the great horned owl nesting, I should say. Great gray owl calls, and in response, the great horned owl does some kind of call, says, hey, I'm here already, get lost. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm trying to piece this together, where I've had both calls, and now I've seen two different species of owls a couple 100 yards apart here. No more calls. And again, I'm just piecing the stuff together while I'm sitting here. I've had my mystery bird at location 6, and I'm going to assume that it's a great horned owl. When I left my recorder out here a couple nights ago, I haven't really been able to piece the audio together yet, but I have a great horned owl calling on it with the same type of call. It's kind of faint, and so I'm guessing that call is the female at the nest asking for food, and the male will bring it into her. So I think I'm going to scrap location 6 tonight and hang out here for a little bit, and then go back to the other side of the road where I've had the saw wet. I had a great gray calling this morning, and see how that turns out for me. I guess now that I got this one, I'm going to go ahead and take off and head to the location. Now that I have this, I know where it's at. It's not moving anywhere. Hopefully I can find another nest tonight. Really crossing my fingers on the saw wet. Okay, I couldn't help myself. Came out to location 6. I got a half hour before dark. Sunrises or sunset is about right now. Just gonna get my skis on. This one's not too far. See if I can find the mystery bird, which I'm pretty sure it's a gray horned owl now. See if I can find it real quick. And I got about an hour or so before I need to be back to location 1 when I've had that saw wet calling. Okay, so, I mean, just so you know, I don't have to come very far at all right now. That snow pile is where my car is. These aspens over here, just on the other side, right on top, right there, an owl just flew away. I just saw it fly the way it flew. I want to say a great horned owl. So I'm going to pop in right to those trees, see if I can find anything that resembles a nest right in there real quick. Skied right up to where that owl took off from. Nest on the top of the tree. That's 2 nests. Positive one's a great horned owl. Second one I'm pretty sure. There's calls, the flight, and oh, I need to catch my breath. Trying to get out fast. Real quick, this tree behind me has a cavity in it. It has been occupied a couple times by a woodpecker. Last time I saw it, my son was standing right next to it. The woodpecker flew in. It startled him, it took off, and he said it sounded like a turkey, which it kind of did. I think it's a flicker. But I want to mention, I love photography, and you know, I'm excited to photograph whatever I find. But I would say first, I'm a naturalist. You know, whether it's that, you know, an owl nest, I'm stopping for woodpecker nests, and I realize it all around me. I mean, there's robins that are nesting, there's juncos, there's chickadees, kinglets. I mean, there's all kinds of things, thrushes that are nesting in that area. And if I have the opportunity, I would stop and look and observe that as well, photograph it. That photography is kind of my way of connecting myself to it. You know, helps me get out. So my biggest thing is I just love being out here, be able to learn. And then something like this, you know, finding a couple nests, you know, I'm excited for. Even though they're great horned owl nests, they're very common, one of the most common across the country. All kinds of photos of them. It is just exciting to be able to get out and find that. So, okay, location 1, here I come. So I have a great gray calling. I'm back at location 1. I should probably get a record of what time it is. I need to find a watch. Let's see, 8:54, so about 9 o'clock. I do have a great gray owl calling. Funny thing is, it was on this side of the road. I mean, if it's the same owl, it was on this side of the road earlier today, this morning, and now it's coming from other side of the road. Not as far back as I walked in for the great horned owl, but that direction. It doesn't sound like it's too far. So I'm going to set up this recorder. I'm not going to leave it tonight because of the clouds and the possibility of rain. But that way, if these saw-whets start calling, I can hear them or get a recording of them. Then I can go get a location on where this great gray is calling right now. So, walk down a little bit to see where the great gray owl is coming from. It'd be better to drive. I think the place that I parked earlier and walked in from is that road. This road kind of makes this turn, and that road cuts off and goes in. I think that'll get me pretty close to it. So I'm gonna wait a second for this. I really want the saw-whet. That's what I want right now. So we'll see how I do. Okay, 9:10. The saw-whet owl is calling. It's dark. Got a flashlight. It's not too far. The biggest challenge that I have is I'm not putting on snowshoes because I sneak in anyways. It's rotten snow everywhere. So see if I can get in there somehow and get close to this. Find out about where the cavity is going to be so I can do a better search rather than searching the whole forest for one. Well, fooled again, I guess. So I hear the saw-whet started in. I think it's too far tonight. It's a lot fainter, further than I want to go at this time of night by myself. Up in the Last Chance area of Island Park, grizzly bear with a couple cubs were out in the neighborhood. And so I was starting to think a lot about that. So I got bear spray on me, but it's a little further than I want to go without knowing exactly the terrain that I'm going through. No snowshoe skis. So I have a second great gray calling this side of the road, pretty far off. I might go give the great gray that's still calling on the other side of the road that's closer. See how close I can get to it real quick. Then head home so I can maybe be out here in the morning. So I think this owl is moving, this great gray. So we'll see if we can catch some sound on here. He's back other side of the road. He was right out for me. Now he's up the road here a little bit. Basically calling it a night. I have this spot, one other spot I'm just going to stop and listen for a few minutes. This one, I've seen great gray owls here years past during the spring and summer, fall for that matter. And then the other location I'm going to stop is just a spot that last night, as I was driving down the highway, I caught a great gray just off the side of the road. So I'm going to just check to see if that one's calling at all. Just to make things interesting, just pulled into the subdivision where I live. As soon as I pull in, right in my headlights, a small owl, I have no idea what kind, darted across. I saw it land and then pop up, and I thought it didn't go very far, so I grabbed the flashlight, went out, looked all over, couldn't find it. So maybe I need to start looking in my own subdivision for small owls.